granted.
Charlie, Hotel, Alpha, Oscar, Sierra.
What's up, my friends? Welcome to Chaos Live, my fun live stream here on Sunday nights where I hang out, chat with you guys, answer some questions about the Army, whatever questions you have. Just drop them down in the, would be like that way, I think it would be that way for the chat. We're already kicking it off with a super chat from VGMR. Thank you, VGMR. We'll get to VGMR super chat here in a minute, but of course, we got to address the basics. People subscribing, all that fun stuff, right? We're doing awesome. Everything's great, but Notification Platoon, those of you that were here right from the start. We got VGMR, one of our Chaos Army commanders. We got the Angry Contractor. We got Joe Garofalo. We got Jesse Yu. We've got Jeremiah McFeeters. We got Cool Man. We've got Ricardo. Let's see, who else do we have? Aiden. A lot of the same people. We got Gunrunner, we got Evie in the house, we got Bree McKenna, Christopher Brock. Let's do a couple more. Life of Ryan, Anakin Skywalker, Edward, TFR 60, Romeo, O, Jake Coy, Marcus Franklin, 375th, William, all sorts of awesome individuals. All right, Killer Beast, Austin Lopez, all sorts of awesome people. Thank you guys for coming to hang out for Chaos Live. If you have a question, drop it in the chat. If I jump past them, which I jump around a lot, right? Make sure to hit me up on Instagram, right? Just go follow me on Instagram. Links in the description box for the Discord channel, for Instagram, for my website, all sorts of stuff. So if you do not get a question answered here on the stream that you really want to know about the U.S. Army, follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message. I usually can get back to you in a day, 2 days, 5 days or less. So make sure to hit me up and I'll get back to you. So we're going to be featuring some questions from you guys from the chat here and there. Let's get into it, shall we? We definitely got to start off with VGMR. VGMR dropping a super chat saying, click that like, troops. Definitely agree. Got a goal right there, 150. 150 likes. We're at 24 right now. We got some work to do because if we don't get to 150 likes, you owe me push-ups. This is how the kind of game works. Okay? So just hit that like button. It's free. Only awesome people are able to like it. So you'll find that if you can hit that like button and it stays and you leave it on, that means you're an awesome person. And if you try to click on the like button or you click on the dislike button, it's because you're garbage. I'm sorry. Only cool people are able to like the stream. That's how it goes. All right, let's see. What do we have as far as, we'll start off after, right around that area. Let's see, we got Jeremiah saying he's at Fort Lee. Well, thanks for watching over in Fort Lee. Jay the Vorn, what's up? I saw just a few above that Jay the Vorn, whatever awesome moderators is in here. Thanks, man. Let's see here. I'm leaving for Fort Benning tomorrow. What to expect and what to bring when married. Make a copy of your marriage certificate. I mean, because when you go to start the paperwork, they're going to want proof that you're married, and then that makes it to where you'll get paid that extra BAH money and everything. You won't get the BAS because you're getting fed in basic training, but you'll still get BAH. So make sure you have that so that gets added to your records and everything. Good luck to you. Hopefully it goes well. Good luck at betting. 30th AG. Man. We got John checking in from Killeen, Texas. Be safe. Holy hand grenade, telling people to fall in. That's right. Got formation. Make sure to fall in. Al Bundy wants to know what my name is again. Frank Castle. There you go. Let's see. Can you get an honorable discharge if you refuse to take the vaccine? I am not 100% sure on how they're going to work things. I did read a thing about like the closest similarity we have to this was in the 90s when the anthrax vaccine was not FDA approved, and they started making people take it when it wasn't FDA approved still. And those that did refuse to take it, some of them, I don't think all of them, but some of them did get dishonorable discharges and got kicked out of the Army with a dishonorable. I don't know if that'll be the same kind of case. We're not even 100% sure if they're really going to make it mandatory. There's talks of it. The Secretary of Defense talked about wanting to do that. He would have to get approval from the president, which he most likely would, but if there's pushback from other individuals, they may or may not do it. So that's just going to depend. But if they do end up doing it, and that could be a possible thing, I don't know. Maybe they'll go the route that they're doing for like federal workers, I think, where federal workers have to get the vaccine, otherwise they have to get like tested like weekly or something like crazy, where they test it all the time. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Anger Contractor says it's got to go. I understand, man. That's cool. What happens on Saturday and Sundays at basic training? A lot of times it's a lot of cleanup, just random stuff around the area, picking up trash, sometimes mowing lawns, sometimes just area beautification. You're usually not doing any kind of like really training. The drill sergeants will probably still mess with you sometimes, but a lot of it is usually like a lot of cleanup, and then just things around the area, like, you know, cleaning up trash in the area, or, you know, doing certain things to keep you busy, because you're not going to get like off. You're not going to get to like go chill or anything like that. They're going to find ways to keep you busy. So you're still doing stuff. Sundays in the morning, you can go to church if you want to go to church. If you don't go to church, then you're usually stuck around, you know, cleaning and doing all that. So they'll keep you busy. You're not going to get a chance to just chill. Any updates on ACFT? I haven't seen anything recently since the last thing. I haven't really been looking too hard either, so I don't know if they have come out with anything, and it's been minor. Nobody really said much about it, but the latest I still know is it's still on track, supposedly, for March of next year. The last main update I heard was they were considering going back to the MOS thing, because they kind of steered away from MOS specific, and they just had one set standard regardless of your MOS, which I think that is kind of dumb. I think they should make it to where it's harder for someone in more of a physical type of MOS, and not easy for someone who like works in the office, but a good standard. There should be like a good standard for all soldiers, no matter what your MOS is, but people who are maybe more physical should have a higher standard kind of a thing. But definitely don't think it should be something easy. It should be something, you know, that shows that you're in good shape, that if you were in a situation where you work in an office, but the base is under attack, you're not screwed and you're out of shape because you don't have a high standard, or you got a really low standard. I don't know, but there still should be a good standard, and then everybody else should be kind of, you know, go up from there based on your level of work that you have to do. When you get a rifle in the Army, I mean, you'll have one that you'll use in basic training. You only take it out usually, except for the ranges. They kind of restricting down, especially at certain locations, but sometimes you might take it out for training. Sometimes you may take it only for live fire ranges, and you have a dummy during other times. And then at your unit, they have the arms room where the weapons get stored in there. You don't like hang on to your weapon all the time. The only time you do that was when you're on like a deployment or in your field, things like that. You hang on to the weapon. Otherwise, the weapon stays in the arms room, and it only comes out of the arms room when you go to the range or do training. Did you see the DM I sent you on Instagram about BJJ and the Army? I did. I have not replied to it yet. If you want, I can just give you my reply now and then make sure you got it, DM you later or whatever. But you could go and still, I remember it now, like you wanted to do a black belt. You want to try to get your black belt, but you also want to join the Army. You might be able to still do that, join the Army and still pursue it. It may not be as fast as like if you were doing it outside of being in the Army. but you could find like a local gym where you're stationed at. Hopefully there is a local gym that does BJJ training, and you could still, like in your off time, participate and do stuff and then try to work up towards a black belt. It may take you longer than it would take you in the Army, but I think it's personal preference. What do you want to do? Do you want to try to do both? Maybe even if it takes you longer to get black belt, or would you rather do your black belt first and then join the Army? I mean, the black belt's not gonna help you in the Army if you had any kind of concern about that, but if it's like a personal accomplishment you want to do, it's kind of based on you as far as you want to do it sooner. You want to try to do it while in the Army? I guess it depends. I have not heard any updates on the mandate for the vaccine thing. The original article that I had in that news story on Friday said that it could possibly become mandatory as early as that Friday. I didn't hear anything about them actually making it mandatory that Friday, so maybe there's a little bit more work they're doing. Maybe there's more research they're doing. I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, they make it sound like it could be any day now that they could make it mandatory, but they might get a lot of pushback from it, right? I did see another article where there was like a lawyer that's kind of trying to help out some people, Marines, sailors, soldiers, and everything like that are kind of pissed about this. And so maybe some of that is making them a little bit reluctant. I've heard from other people that it could just end up being a thing where the military, not the military, but the government just pushes for the FDA to make it a fully approved sooner, and then they can make it mandatory. So I don't know. We'll see. You have your own gun in the Army. I mean, you can have a gun, right? But if you're talking about like you want to go to a deployment and you want to bring your own sidearm and everything like that, no, you can't bring your own personal. It's a POW. It's not a prisoner of war. It's a privately owned weapon. Sometimes there's certain Army acronyms that have double meanings. In that case, a privately owned weapon and a prisoner of war have the same acronym, POW. But you can't bring your personally owned weapons with you on deployments. If you have a weapon, you can keep it at your house, like if you live off base. If you live on base, you have to get it registered through the Provost Marshal, which is essentially like the police station on an Army base. If you live in the barracks, you can't have firearms in the barracks, so you got to keep it outside the barracks. You'd have to, request to keep it stored in the arms room, which kind of can be a hassle because then you have to coordinate with the armor to get it out anytime you want to use it on the weekends or whatever. You could keep it with a friend that lives off base. You could, some other kind of means. But you can't keep them in the barracks. It's not allowed. You get it confiscated and you'll lose that sucker. But yeah, that's kind of the limitations with it. Do you still remember the NCO of the Creed? Probably part of it, probably not the whole thing. No one is more professional than I. I'm a non-commissioned officer, a leader of soldiers. That's probably about as far as I can get. I remember there's a part about the backbone of the Army. Yeah, I don't know. Not off the top of my head, no. I haven't probably had to say it in a long ass time, so. Alan says he's currently in the Army. I hate my life. That happens sometimes. Nobody's experience is guaranteed as far as it being good, being bad. It really just depends sometimes. There are a lot of factors in there that causes someone to really hate being in the Army, right? There's things that go wrong. Sometimes there's things that go right. Sometimes things go neutral. It happens. But hey, it's no different than the civilian world, really. I mean, to a certain point. I mean, you can be in a civilian job that sucks really bad too and hate your life. So good luck to you. Hopefully it improves though. We do have a super chat. Let's jump downwards to that super chat. Just some geeky guy dropping a super chat. Well, thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. I'm a foreign exchange student from the Middle East. I'm planning on living in the U.S. and joining Army Special Forces and serve as an Arabic translator. Well, good luck to you. One of the key things you will have to do if you don't have already your U.S. citizenship, you will have to get U.S. citizenship for Special Forces. Any MOS, any job that requires a security clearance is going to require you to have U.S. citizenship. You can talk to a recruiter to confirm all this stuff. I always mention that to everybody. Like, I give my personal opinion on things, and you can use it as a baseline, but always still use that as just a baseline, and then still make sure you talk to a recruiter to verify things, because I could be wrong on shit sometimes. It happens, right? So always make sure to verify with like a recruiter on a lot of things, or someone in your leadership if you're already in the Army, whatever the case is. But from what my understanding, Special Forces, because it requires security clearance, also means you need U.S. citizenship. So good luck to you, though. Thank you very much for that super chat. All right, jumping ahead in the chat, down a little bit. Oh man, Evie's doing some planks with Scuttlebutt. Are you double streaming, Evie? Are you double watching my stream plus Scuttlebutt stream? Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Imagine maybe a little confusing, but hey, if you're great at like multitasking, cool. Scuttlebutt's awesome. Yeah, we couldn't refuse the flu vaccine when I was in basic. Yeah, I mean all this stuff that's like actually mandated. Yeah, you can't. Like I had to get the anthrax shot. I had to get the smallpox shot before I went to Iraq. I had to take, malaria pills when I was in Korea. That one was a little easier to kind of get away with, especially once you found out that it gave you diarrhea. But yeah, you kind of, when it's FDA approved, you're kind of screwed. You're kind of stuck with having to take them. And then right now it's just kind of a situation of possibly them waiving it. So we'll see. What is a PCAT? It's kind of like a shorter version of the ASVAB. A lot of times recruiters nowadays is what they'll do is they'll give people that want to join the Army the PCAT. I don't remember what it stands for, but it's not that important. But it's kind of essentially like this, just a shorter version of the ASVAB, where they can kind of evaluate your level of education, knowledge, and everything from this shorter version. And then if you do really bad on that, then you might have to take the full-on ASVAB one. But if you do really good on the PCAT, then the chances are you would have done really well on the ASVAB, and they'll just go with that score, and they have a way to still calculate it in the same way they would the ASVAB, just easier, and it takes less time. They get more people through, and then you can go off of that. So if you get the option to do the PCAT, it's shorter. I had to do the full-on ASVAB. This is what they did in my high school when I did it, so it's much longer. It took a couple hours, I think it was, where the PCAT, I think, is, 30 minutes, 20 minutes? I don't remember. It's shorter, much shorter than the ASVAB is. Even though I'm going to the Marines, you are my favorite YouTuber that does Army vids. Well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. Good luck to the Marines. I make Army content because that's what I'm more knowledgeable on, obviously. But I don't, I'm not to say that, the Marines isn't better for you, the Air Force, Space Force, Navy, Coast Guard, whatever, right? I just provide information based on what I have and let you make your own decisions. But definitely, like someone who's not sure if they should join the Army or the Marines or Air Force, whatever, do your research, right? I provide the information side for the Army. Find other people that provide information for that, or talk to recruiters, and make your own decision that you think is going to be best for you. Because the Army may not be best for everybody. I understand that. Do you think there's going to be a conflict coming soon? I don't know. I mean, I think if anything, we'll end up back in Afghanistan. Because there was already problems with Afghanistan stuff going on with us pulling out of Afghanistan, and then, ISIS or whatever in that area is taking back control over certain areas because whatever kind of a thing. So we'll probably end up back in Afghanistan most likely. I don't know for sure. I mean, maybe things work out and we don't go help them out, or maybe we do. I don't know. But if I was anything of currently going on, that would feel like be the most likely thing, is probably going back into Afghanistan at some point in time. What was AIT like for me? It was short, 5 weeks. 88 Mike AIT wasn't very long. It's gotten a little bit longer. I think it's 1 or 2 weeks longer than it used to be back then. But, I mean, it started off really restricted the first week, I remember, and then it kind of lightened up a little bit to where we were allowed to go to, like, the shopette that was across the street. And then eventually we were allowed to go to the PX. But if we were going to the PX, you had to wear the dress uniform if you were going to the PX. And if you were just going to the stuff in the immediate area, you got to stay in your camouflage uniform. Yeah, I mean, it was mostly, you didn't have the same kind of drill sergeant reactions you'd get in basic training. You still have drill sergeants, and they're yelling at you here and there a little bit, but then they kind of like march you over to where you're going to do your classes at or do your training at, and then these instructors take over that aren't drill sergeants, but sometimes still kind of act a little bit like drill sergeants. And then you're just learning, and then the drill sergeants come back in and march you to chow, and then back to class, and then back to the barracks, and you have some free time in the evening to kind of relax and chill out. So... we only got 2 opportunities. I think it was 1 or 2 opportunities to actually leave base for the weekend. The rest of the time you kind of had to stay in the barracks. But how much that's changed since then, I couldn't tell you. If I go airborne school, I'd be more likely to deploy as a 35 November. I don't think the deployment part will really matter unless you go to a unit that's active on deployments, because I've said this before in videos and live streams, whatever. Your MOS does not determine your deployability, the unit you go to, because the unit is made up of multiple MOSs, and if that unit gets orders to deploy, then that whole unit has to go, right? Because cooks are going to go, whoever is inside that unit is going to go. Going to airborne school makes it more likely that you will go to an airborne unit, and if you go to an airborne unit that is very active with deployments, then sure. If you go to an airborne unit that's not, then you're just in an airborne unit that doesn't deploy that often. So that just kind of varies based on that. Johnny says, I'm taking the first step in the process by calling the recruiter tomorrow. I'm very excited. Well, good luck to you, Johnny. Make sure to ask lots of questions, things you want to know about. And then obviously if you think of other questions later on, you can always probably call them back up and ask questions later on too. How was basic training like when you went? Also, hello. I actually have a video on that. If you want to check out on my channel, do a search on my channel. Maybe for like, if you go to my channel and do a channel search, then it searches specifically for my videos and do like basic training, you'll probably find one. If not, if that's something you don't know how to do, go to just YouTube in general. And I'm willing to bet if you probably did a YouTube search for Christopher Chaos, Christopher Chaos, my basic training probably, or something like that, you probably would find this video that I have where I converted the VHS, because my basic training was recorded on VHS. I converted it to digital so that I could react to it for you guys, and I kind of go through sections of it, not the whole thing, because I think it's like 45 minutes, 30 minutes long, but I go through sections of it and react to it, so you can kind of see what it was like when I did basic training. Hey Chris, what is the process of visiting Fort Hood as a guest? They're usually, for each installation, they have a specific gate that is for visitors. There's a visitor's gate. Sometimes they might have one or two. It just kind of depends on the installation. Like Fort Carson has 2 gates that you can utilize for visitors. Other bases may only have 1, some may also have 2. But you have to go to that specific gate for visitors, and you're going to have to get a vehicle inspection done. Usually, sometimes they just want to see that you have insurance and registration, and they'll randomly inspect vehicles. And then you have to have a valid form of identification, so they're going to run a background check on you, make sure you're not some felon that's trying to get on base. They're going to run all that check with your registration, your everything like that, and anybody who's in the vehicle, everybody has to have an ID. And then if you clear to go, don't have any felonies, crazy stuff on your record that makes you suspicious, they let you on for the day. So usually something like that. You'd have to find out. I don't know if the gun runner knows which gate is the Fort Hood commercial gate or visitor's gate. But otherwise, to get on installation, you always have to have a government ID. If you don't, you have to go through the visitor gate. Is it true that there is a rumor that males might be able to have facial hair? I'm going to say probably not. My recent video, I think some people took it out of context and didn't actually watch the video. But the individual I'm talking about in the video got a waiver for it based on his religion, which you can get religion waivers sometimes. I mean, it's up to the commander to approve them. You can get shaving profiles. So if you have some kind of skin condition that, you know, causes you to break out in rashes or bumps or whatever because you shave with a razor or whatever, then you can get shaving profile. Doesn't mean you can grow like a really long ZZ top, you know, usually beard, but you have to keep it really short. Probably, I don't know if like, mine would probably still be a little too long, right, for a shaving profile. But no, I don't see it happening. I feel like the current Sergeant Major of the Army is pretty strong on not wanting people to have beards. So I don't think it'll happen while he's the Sergeant Major of the Army. Most likely not. Let's see, Jonathan's wife here. Is there anything that I got to worry about when he goes to basic training? No, I'd say give him as much support as you can. Try to write letters often. He may or may not get a lot of opportunities to call. May get several opportunities. It may only be 1, maybe 2. It really varies. But you know, during those times, people want motivation and they want to know that they're doing something for a good reason. So writing letters often, don't make them really long. I had someone that used to write me really long letters in basic training, and I wouldn't have the free time to sit there and write or sit there and read 4 or 5 pages of a letter. So, you know, make it good in like maybe a page kind of a thing. Write some letters. Unless they're able to call pretty often, then you can probably just talk to them pretty often too, rather than having to write letters. And then probably just makes it easier. But just make sure, you know, give as much support as you can. Can't send any care packages or anything like cool like that. As far as things to worry about, not really. I mean, it sucks. You just got to keep them motivated and, you know, let them know you care. We have a super chat. I'm pretty far behind on the chat. Sorry about that, guys. Holy hand grenade coming in with a super chat. My friend. Claim Nordic Pagan as your religion, or claim, is that what it is? Claim Nordic Pagan as your religion. There's your hack for a beard. Maybe that, that one guy, though, in that video that I talked about, it took him 2 years to get that approval. That's pretty dedicated, you know, kept on trying or whatever, just waiting it out or whatever, but it took a long time. I feel like a shaving profile, you probably have a better chance with not having to shave compared to trying to get a religious waiver, probably. I don't know, but then that still requires a medical examination to check on you and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know. But yeah, thanks, Holy Hand Grenade, for the super chat to try to tell soldiers how to hack the system. We are at, I guess, 57 likes. We got a goal right there. 150 likes we're trying to get to, my friends. So take a look down below. If you have not yet liked the stream, hit that like button. Only awesome people are able to do so. So make sure you hit that like button so we can try to get to our goal. Planking completed by Evie. Well, I hope it was worth it, Evie, because you missed a lot. We were giving out information about how to become a millionaire in the Army, and you probably missed it because you were too busy planking over the Scuttlebutt show. But it's okay. I forgive you. You just won't be able to become a millionaire. What legal troubles may keep you from being enlisted by a recruiter? What won't affect your experience? I mean, there's probably a lot of things. I have a video that talks about what ones can. Felonies a lot of times can. Misdemeanors not so much. Maybe they're waiverable. Certain things are waiverable. Certain things are not waiverable. So there's a video on what can prevent you from joining the Army. I forget exactly what the title is called, but that's what it's on. It wasn't even that long ago. I think it was this year that I did that video. So it was in 2021 that I did that video, I think. But check for that video on my channel, and it gives you a breakdown of all the different things that potentially can eliminate you, including legal types of things. And then, if anything else, you can always reach out to a recruiter, ask a recruiter some questions. I think Art Chisel posted his phone number recently. You can give him a call. Dear Chris, my wife is leaving me some guy named Jody. How do I change her heart? You don't. I would say if she's not faithful and loyal enough to you to stay with you, then you find someone else and you move on with your life, because you need someone that's faithful to you, not someone you had to talk into being faithful to you. Also, how is boot camp for prior service E5 moving over? So prior service in general usually will be a lot easier. Usually, I don't know 100% for sure, but you're switching over from another branch, come back in the Army, whatever. Well, usually if you were coming back in the Army, they'll make you do this like short refresher thing, depending on how long you're out for. But if you're transferring from another branch, coming into Army basic training, especially as an E5, and really any rank, I think, if you're transferring over, they usually will treat you a little bit better. So you probably won't stay in the barracks that the soldiers are staying in. Well, you're talking about basic training, huh? That one's pretty rough, actually. I'm thinking of AIT. AIT, usually you stay in a different barracks than the new soldiers were. Basic, if you have to go through basic, I think you're still stuck doing a lot of the same crap. Your recruiter would tell you if you have to do like the short version of it or the full-on version of it. So, yeah, basic sometimes can just be the same thing and it ends up sucking. I mean, with you being an E5, it'll be a little weird because people might be yelling at ease for you. So that'll make things weird. Evie's leaving already? Ready for my bedtime story, Chris? All right, well, I'll keep talking. I know it's pretty boring. Usually it puts you to sleep, but that's how we'll do it. Were you ever afforded the chance to earn a set of Spurs? I have a set of Spurs right back there. Can't really probably see them, dark, but I have Spurs. I have the wrong Spurs, however, and that's not my fault. It's my unit's fault. If you get, there's two ways you can get Spurs. For those of you who don't know, it's a cav thing. You have to be in a cavalry unit to get Spurs. So one way is by doing a spur ride, gives you some silver Spurs. Second way is go to combat with a cav unit, get some gold Spurs. I went to combat twice with a cav unit. They gave me silver Spurs. Why? I don't know. But those are the ones they gave me. I could go buy my own probably gold Spurs and say, hey, these are my Spurs for going on deployment, but those are the original ones that they gave me. They're the incorrect ones, but I hang on to them anyways, even though they're the incorrect Spurs, because those are the ones they originally gave me in the first place. So yes. How am I doing today? I'm doing great. Jackson's gaming. Forehead guests without DoD ID card need to go to the Marvin Leith Visitor Center to obtain a pass. There you go. Anybody visiting Fort Hood, that's the specific one you have to go to. Like I said, each installation usually has like different specific designated gates for visitors to have to go to. There's the one specifically for Fort Hood. Where that's located at, you probably have to look that up. The gate I remember going through, I have a DoD ID though. So like when I went through Fort Hood's one, the last time I was there, was off of the main drag coming from Colleen. I think it's one of the main gates. I don't know what that gate was called, because I was doing 2 weeks of training to help out at their mission training complex on Fort Hood, and that was the gate I would come through each morning when I was doing the exercise with them. But I don't remember what the name of that one was. I just remember it was the main gate coming from Colleen. When you get assigned to a line unit, when you show up, so after you're done with basic training AIT, you go to your unit, and then from there, you know, they'll put you where they want to put you. Where can I send my question? Right here, right where you just sent that. And instead of me reading where can I send my question, I could have been reading your question. It's one of the big things. By the way, a little tip here. If you guys message me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, I prefer on Instagram because Facebook I don't check as often, but you message me on Instagram and you want an answer to a question, don't start off with, I have a question, can you answer it? If you would have started off with, hey Chris, I have a question, and then ask the question immediately following that or whatever, I could have replied right then with the answer to your question. But now I have to reply, sure, send me your question. And I'm probably not going to sit there and wait for you to type back. I'm probably going to go back about my day and then later get back to you. And I could have given you an answer by now. So just ask the damn question. Don't ask if you can ask a question. Ask the question, and I'll answer it when I get a chance to. Makes things a lot easier. Joel says he leaves the 24th to OSIT. Any advice? Expected to suck worse than anything has sucked ever before. And hopefully it doesn't end up being as bad as you thought it was going to be. And always remember that OSIT, your experience during OSIT is not what it's like in the Army. It will get better than that when you actually get in the Army. How much better? Just kind of depends on the unit sometimes. But it's definitely not as strict as it is when you're in OSIT. So don't think that, you know, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do anything and be so locked down, restricted, and blah, 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 blah. No, it's like more like a day job once you actually get to it. Your hours may vary based on your MOS. If you're doing OSIT, you know, like 11 Bravo or whatever, then sometimes you have a lot of free time. Sometimes you don't have a lot of free time. It really depends on the mission and what's going on. Yo, just joined the Army at AIT right now. I'm from Bishop 2. Like the vids, man. Well, good deal, Connor. How's all that smoke? I was just talking to my dad, because my dad still lives in Bishop. Talking about how it's really smoky. Can't even see the Sierras and all that stuff. I'll be back in Bishop probably sometime next year. We didn't do any vacation time this year to go back to Bishop, but usually I try to once a year sometimes go back to Bishop, but we'll probably wait until next year to go back. Good luck to you in AIT. It's good to know that there's even if it's one person following in my hometown. I always thought that would be kind of really cool if like one day when I went back to like visit, you know, family and everything, I was wandering around Bishop or whatever, going to Vaughn's, can't go to Kmart anymore because Kmart got shut down. Going to Starbucks, maybe Hanes Donuts, I don't know. And then someone like runs into you and runs into me and is like, hey, I watch your videos on YouTube. That'd be pretty cool. So look for me at Hanes Donuts. I like to go to Hanes Donuts. They got good donuts and everything. I'm transitioning to the Army as a Marine. Have you had any experience working with prior service personnel? A little bit. I've known several people that have transitioned from the Marines over to the Army. They like it a little bit better because they were able to advance and rank a lot better than they were in the Marines. So that's always a plus. I feel like the Army isn't quite as strict as the Marines are. So the people tend to like enjoy it maybe a little bit better. You're still going to have crappy leadership or whatever stuff that you might have in the Marines compared to the Army or whatever. That stuff just really varies, whatever. But usually most people that I've known that have transitioned from the Marines over to the Army said it was easier. Said it was easier to build rank. And they enjoyed it a little bit more. That may or may not be the case with you. You know, experiences will vary, but the majority of people that I've talked to, that's how they kind of went. We are at 86 likes. Our goal is 150, my friends. So if you have not hit that like button, hit that like button so we get to 150 likes for the stream. My friend had his wife sneak in candy and toothpaste and soap boxes. It didn't work. Drill sergeant said that it's the oldest trick in the book. Yeah, no, there was I think I remember there was one time like a soldier, they'll make you open up the packages. Like if you get a package, they'll usually make you open it up in front of the drill sergeants to make sure there's not something in there they're not supposed to have. And I want to say I remember there was one time where a soldier ended up with like candy or something like that, and the drill sergeant confiscated and I think ate it in front of all of us, saying yeah, it's horrible. It's just rough watching him eat that candy in front of us. But hey, it happens. But yeah, you don't want that kind of stuff. Do you think combat MOS in the Army is a feasible life path for someone with no background in firearms or outdoorsy things like hunting or camping? I mean, they're going to train you to do all that stuff like that. I mean, sure, if you had that background stuff, it might make things easier for you. But I don't think it's necessarily a requirement, right? I think it's going to depend on you. Like if you're someone who doesn't have experience on camping because you hate the outdoors, then yeah, it might be a little bit tough. If you're someone that doesn't have firearms background because you're afraid of firearms, then yeah, it might make things tough. But if you just don't have that experience because you weren't exposed to that, didn't have that experience, then you probably won't be a big deal. And you're probably just going to learn it all as you go through OSIT and everything from your other soldiers in your unit anyways. So yeah, I think you'd be fine. What is required to become a drill sergeant? It used to be E6 and above. Now they'll allow E5s. I think E5 promotables or something like that. Some people come up on orders to go drill sergeants. They don't get a choice. Sometimes, like especially when you get to like the E6 mark, a lot of people will very commonly come up on orders to either go drill sergeant or recruiter, and then you have to go, right? You can try to like deny it, and then sometimes it kind of messes things up with your career, but that's a pretty common thing. But you can also volunteer for it. You can volunteer to go recruiter or drill sergeant. But yeah, typically it doesn't matter on MOS. There's no MOS really that I know of. I don't know if there's an MOS that eliminates you from it. I don't think so. But usually E5, E6 time frame, right around there. You can volunteer for it if you want. And you go to the Drill Sergeant Academy and get the training, and then you become a drill sergeant. I'm hearing your kid running around. Yeah, I didn't know if you could hear it, if the mic was picking it up, but yeah, I heard the roof shaking a little bit as she's running around through her bedroom. I have it's called a noise gate on the microphone, so it cuts out certain noises, but if it becomes a certain decibel, then it does pick it up. Like right now, I can actually hear the music that you guys hear in the background. It's really low, but like if I be quiet, I can see like the audio levels on my end, and I don't see the microphone audio levels going up from the music in the background. So because it's also facing away from the speakers, plus the noise gate is cutting it off. But yeah, probably her running around, jumping around, it might pick that up. Or that's mortars coming in and I'm receiving fire. Make sure Evie gets warm milk before the story. I don't know. Might pee the bed. Probably not a good idea to drink fluids before you go to bed. What's going on in Kabul, Afghanistan? I have all-American military pulled out. I don't believe so. So here's the thing. Like, even though we're pulling out of Afghanistan, we're not like 100% pulling out, because we still will have a smaller force there to help with like the embassy, because we still have the embassies there. We still have other things that are kind of going on there. It'll be reduced extremely to where we don't have the ability to be able to do, you know, fighting and conflict type of thing. But we have the certain, whatever number that is, I don't know how many, like 1,000, a couple thousand or something like that, not very many troops that are there for embassy types of missions, where they will still be like guarding the embassy, working at the embassy, little missions here and there. So 100, we will not have it probably a situation where we have 0 soldiers in Afghanistan, but a small amount of soldiers will be a thing. Is it possible to miss a birth while deployed? Is it also possible to miss a funeral? So yeah, if you like in a situation where you're married, your spouse is going to give birth, most of the time they will try their best to try to accommodate that. So a lot of times when you're on deployments, depending on the length of the deployment, you'll get some time to get to go back home for maybe like 15 days, for example, and then have to come back to the deployment. If you are already giving your leadership a heads up that your spouse is pregnant, and when the due date is, they will try to make it to where you will go back during that time frame so that you can make it. That is not 100% guaranteed, because there are situations out there where I've known people that have told me that their unit wasn't able to accommodate that and they missed the birth of their child. Sometimes it was even their first child and they missed that. Same with funerals too. Funerals, depending on who the person is, if you have someone immediate like your spouse, then yeah, they're probably going to send you back for your spouse if your spouse passed away. Your son, daughter, that kind of thing, yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed they will send you back. Other things outside of that can vary. For the most part, they will try to accommodate that, and they will try to send you back so that way you can be there for the funeral or when someone's about to pass away, kind of a thing, but also still not 100% guaranteed. Super chat. Wow, I'm really far behind on chat. This is always when I find out I'm really far behind in the chat. Raphael dropping a $4.99 donation. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much. You know, you didn't say anything, but that's cool. Still appreciate the donation. Helps out the channel. So thank you. We'll use that as an opportunity to jump past some of the questions. Again, be aware, guys, I do jump around in the chat sometimes, and if I miss your question, hit me up on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Links in the description box down below. There's also the link to the Discord channel, where there's a lot of awesome individuals inside there. Some of them are veterans, and they have a little verified veteran role to let you know they're veterans, and they can offer advice as well. So it's a great community kind of a thing. Again, our like goal, 150. We are at 97 currently of what I'm seeing. So still need just a little bit over 50 more likes, right? To get to that 150 goal. So make sure you take a look down below. Hit that like button if you have not liked the stream already. Let's see. It says, can you react to the video 50-year-old man joined the army? Is there a special video on that? I don't know, maybe. I mean, send me the link like on Instagram or something like that. Or post it in the Discord channel in the check this out section. Maybe. I know the story of the guy, you know, wanting to go back into the army so they can do like 4 to something like that, more years and retire, get the retirement benefits. But I don't know what specific video it is you're talking about. But maybe that's a new thing we're going to be starting to try out here. Not next Monday, but probably the following Monday. I'm going to try to make it to where maybe if possible, every Monday is like a reaction video. My kind of new schedule thing I'm going to kind of try to work with is that every Monday, if I can, is going to be like a reaction type of video, or actually that's going to be kind of the day I dedicate for fun videos that I call. So it'll be maybe a reaction video, maybe something else that's fun. Wednesday will be kind of like the dedicated educational content day. And then Friday will be reserved for like that news thing that I just recently started doing. I'm gonna try to keep doing that and do like these little quick news type of stuff. Another super chat from Raphael. You didn't really have to, if you didn't want to like say anything, you didn't have to do a super chat for it, but thank you, I appreciate it. Can a 15 Romeo deploy with a combat MOS, and can a 15 Romeo get a combat unit? So there's not really a such thing as a combat unit necessarily. Earlier in the live stream, a similar question was asked about like, can this MOS deploy, kind of a thing. I have a video and I get this kind of the same answer for those of you that were here during that time frame. It's kind of the same answer that I told that person, but deploying or not deploying isn't really based on your MOS, it's based on your unit. So if you're in a specific unit and that unit is going to deploy, then everybody in that unit's going to go. Okay, so you don't have like a whole unit of nothing but 11 Bravos. That is not a thing, right? You have to have people that are your finance individuals, your mechanics, your cooks, everything that makes up a unit. And if that unit gets orders, you all deploy. So a 15 Romeo, if they're in a specific unit that happens to come up on orders to deploy, then yeah, you can deploy. But specifically, there's not like units that really necessarily that are combat units and those are the only units to deploy. No, I mean you do have units that don't deploy, but if it comes up on orders, then you're gonna deploy. Thank you for the super chat though, my friend. If you want to check out that video though, look on my channel for who deploys. I have a video that kind of explains it more in depth. When I'm 17, I'll be a junior in high school. Will I have to wait to graduate to join or what? Sort of, it depends. There are options for someone between your junior year and high school and your senior year of high school where you can do the split ops option. You have to talk to a recruiter to find out if you qualify for it, if it's available, all sorts of things where you will go off to basic training during your summer vacation between your junior and senior year. And then I think once you come back, you're kind of like in the reserves while you're still in high school. So you like do a little bit of stuff with like a nearby reserve unit. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it. We lost the stream. Looks like we lost some connection. I don't know how far. I don't like it. I'm looking at a preview. You guys still have me, or did it cut off at a certain point? Like I'm looking at the actual preview of the live stream, and it still shows it up. So I didn't get cut off. I had like an alert that popped up on my computer saying that OBS is disconnected. And then I had for a little bit there on the YouTube screen, I had no data. Did it actually like cut out? This is back now. So did it actually cut out for a little bit? All right. Well, hopefully I got to the question that someone was asking. I see people saying that yeah, it's still here. It's still working, Chris. I don't know. Maybe I was only out for a split second, something like that. VGMR dropping a super. Holy shit! I'm really far behind. It was a basic stutter. All right, well that's good. Nothing too serious. It's a good deal then. Thanks for dropping $5 to tell me that, VGMR. Appreciate your support, my friend. All right, let's see where we're at. Come through in some of the chat area. Yeah, don't abuse emergency leave. I had a sham soldier who took emergency leave 4 times in a year. Not sure how he got away with it. Yeah, you don't want to abuse that thing. I mean, if things happen, then sure. I mean, usually he has to go through a Red Cross message to make sure that it's valid and approved and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, don't abuse the system, ever. What advice would you give to a young man that wants to build confidence? I don't know, find something that motivates you, right? I mean, get in good shape. Sometimes that helps, you know, you're in good shape and you set some goals and then you surpass those goals, and that can give you confidence of, you know, achieving those goals. So set some goals, right? If it's fitness goals, education goals, whatever, set some realistic goals. Like, don't go like crazy. Like, you know, you weigh like 150 pounds and your goal is to be able to bench press 300 pounds, then yeah, of course, that's gonna be a little ridiculous. Set some realistic goals that you can't yet do, but you believe you will be able to do through some hard work. And then achieving those goals, start to build confidence. So you just gotta set achievable goals that it will be accomplished through hard work. And that sometimes helps with confidence, I feel like. Are colonels allowed to order a E9, or they get the same treatment as second lieutenant would if they do it? So the key thing a lot of times is like officers don't really like order around NCOs too much. I mean, they sort of do in a way, but not in the same way as like you're not going to have like a colonel like bossing around like an E9 really in the same way like you would see like a sergeant bossing around like a private kind of a thing. They usually respect that, hey, this person has got a lot of experience, probably equal experience to a colonel with being a sergeant major. I mean, you've probably been in the Army for 20 plus years and probably been in the Army longer than that colonel has. So you're not going to go and disrespect that. And they're not going to go that kind of level. I mean, people always ask like, hey, this person outranks this person because they're an officer and this person enlisted. So can that lieutenant boss around that sergeant major because he outranks him? No, not really. He's probably going to get hemmed up by his leadership for doing such a thing like that. So usually there's like a mutual respect between officers and NCO, especially non-commissioned officers that have a lot of experience like that. Oh man, Kennedy is at the MEPS hotel currently. Wish him luck. Good luck to you, my friend. Hopefully it goes well. It's gonna be boring. It's gonna suck. But hopefully your dreams come true. Get the MOS you want. Experience goes well. Everything is great. What's my favorite firearm? I don't know. I like the AR-15, the M4. I don't know. I don't know if I really have a favorite. I'm not sure. Literally signed in today. Where'd you sign into? Basic? Your first unit? Where'd you sign in? Off leave? Not sure where you signed in from. I mean, I see in your avatar picture it's got you with the like the ACH on and stuff. So you sign in off of leave. Was there block leave going on this time frame? What was block leave going on for this in this time frame? We got 104 likes. 150 is our goal, my friends. We have about 15, 20 minutes maybe left in the stream. So we have to make up some time here. Hit that like button down below if you have not liked the stream. We got McKenna is a medic out of Fort Stewart. How is Fort Stewart? Never been to Fort Stewart. Thanks for watching. Headed to Fort Sill on September 20th. Any tips? I mean, if you haven't already watched my reaction video, probably a good idea as to what to expect a little bit, but always expect it to suck really, really bad. But stay motivated because the Army is not like it's like what it is in basic training. It does get better from there. So don't think that your experience in basic training is what it's going to be like the rest of your Army career, because it's not. Our basic training is meant to try to break you, to get you in shape and make sure you can handle the stress. And then you're rewarded in the end once you graduate with a little bit more freedom. And then better freedom when you get your unit. But how do you feel about the Army focusing more on near-peer threat than counterterrorism? I don't know if I really have an opinion. I don't see it probably as much as you might, being actually in the Army. I work with the Army still as a contractor, teaching soldiers, but I don't know. I don't know what the extent of it is and what you guys have to really kind of do with that kind of training focus and how that affects your day-to-day mission kind of a thing to really have a good enough opinion on it. So I don't really know enough about it to make any kind of good educated opinion. Evie, you're still awake? I thought you were going to sleep and you're supposed to be listening. Must sleep, but want to see the end. And does that mean you're asleep? Do they have staff duty at post level? I mean, there's like battalion staff duty, brigade staff duty, division staff duty. A post level one? Like what? Well, I mean, the garrison, like you have like division staff duty. So like, I don't think you really have like a post level one because you're not really like a post unit. There's just the divisions and then the post commander, the garrison commander. Where do they work out of? They don't work out of division, do they? They might work out of division. I don't know. But I don't think there is like a post staff duty. I think division staff duty might be the highest they kind of do. If there is a post-staff duty, I mean, already at division level, that's usually like a sergeant first class that's doing division staff duty. I mean, you have sometimes younger soldiers that are be the runner, I guess, still. But I don't think there's a post-staff duty. I'm told my AIT as a 68 Papa will count for 55 college credits. Is that legitimate? Going to knock out essentially an associate's degree, or does it not transfer that to that exactly? I couldn't tell you for sure. I know from my experience, 10 years of being in the Army transferred to a little bit of college education, not 55 credits. I didn't basically get an associate's degree. But the essential thing is still too is that you kind of have to use it where it's applicable, right? If you get like a bunch of credits, they have to apply to something. Like, for example, when I transferred my military experience into college to do my associate's degree, I did my associate's in television and radio. And just because I had 10 years of Army doesn't automatically give me an associate's degree in television and radio. So I had to still apply to things. It pretty much applied to electives and public speaking and a few other things. So I got those like kind of knocked out, but I still had to do the general things you still have to do for your associate's degree. So a lot of that would come down to the college itself as far as what they want to give you credit for, because that's how you kind of work it, is you give them your DD-214 when you got to the Army or whatever to that college to see what they'll give you credit for, and they determine how many credits you get and what you get credit for, and then knock some things off for you. Do you have any advice for me? I'm thinking of joining the Army. Watch a lot of my videos, probably. And do your research, really. I mean, the moral of that is do your research, whether that's from watching my videos, watching other people's videos, talking to people, talking to a recruiter, whatever, right? Do your research. Make sure that it's something you want to do. There's something in the Army you want to do. Research, research, research. That's really the best advice, probably, in my opinion. What's my favorite? I already said my favorite firearm. I don't really have one. I've seen that it's popped up like 4 or 5 times already, man. I don't have a favorite firearm. If you can't drive, should you avoid joining the Army? No, not necessarily. I've known people that didn't have driver's license and they did their whole Army career with no driver's license, never drove, just caught rides or whatever, taxis or whatever. Now you have Uber as a more popular thing, or Lyft or whatever. So no, I don't think so. I mean, you probably don't want to drive, jump into an MOS that you're going to have to drive. Like, you probably wouldn't want to be a truck driver, which I think actually requires you as an ADM Mike to have a driver's license, I believe. But, depending on what your job is, if it doesn't really involve a lot of driving, probably not a big deal. Any tips? It's kind of the same kind of thing, but someone who's foreign specifically. Make sure you have your English skills are good, at least, being able to understand things. I don't really think there's anything specific for foreigners compared to non-foreigners. Probably making sure you have a good understanding of the English language. Probably be pretty important. What's up, Anakin Skywalker? Are recruiters like car salesmen? Sometimes. It depends. I mean, I guess it just depends on the recruiter, right? I might be doing something with Art Chisel, maybe some point in time. I know he reached out to me, wanted to do something. We haven't planned anything yet. And then if I do, then I'll have a little one-on-one, maybe, video with me and Archie to talk about recruiters in general, probably. I think I would probably gear towards. And you kind of get a little bit of experience from there. I'll probably ask you guys for questions that you want to know from a recruiter. When that'll happen, I don't know. But sometimes like car salesmen trying to get you to join the Army, and they'll do whatever they can do so. Not all are like that, though. It probably just depends. What MOS would you choose if you had to do it all over again? 25 Victor, probably. That, or there's another MOS too that's like along the same lines that would do video stuff. But a 25 Victor would do like documentary type of things. There's another one too that I forget what it was though, but that one would be cool. Summer block leave, I was having a conversation with a buddy in my brigade in the comments. That's funny. Someone like is in the comments here. This is from your unit as well. That's cool. I guess it is weird. I know like not everybody, like I know pretty commonly units will do block leave around like the 4th of July, but obviously the entire army can't go and just take block leave all at the same time. So sometimes there's probably units that have to take it outside of the 4th of July week time frame. So maybe, I guess maybe yours was just recently. So it makes sense. I'm 16 and want to know what to do to prepare when I talk to a recruiter. Just think of what questions you have, right? Things you're not sure about, you know, jobs you want to do, ask questions about that MOS. Sometimes they can't elaborate too much. Sometimes they just guess or pretend to know, or maybe they do know, or maybe they'll be straight up with you and tell you I don't know a whole lot. I have actually had recruiters say that they would pull up one of my MOS Monday videos to tell someone about an MOS they're interested in that they didn't know about. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta kind of think of questions that you want to ask a recruiter about being in the Army. 114 likes, we're getting there. Need 150 though. Otherwise, you guys owe me push-ups. This is how it works. If you want to avoid push-ups, make sure you like the damn stream, okay? We'll be okay. Is the vaccine mandatory now? Not currently, but possibly, not 100% sure, possibly could become mandatory any day now. There could be a lot of pushback and it delays until it gets FDA approved. Definitely when it gets FDA approved, I'm pretty sure it's going to be mandatory then. But during this time frame, while it's still under emergency use, people are trying for it. Some people think that it will happen even while it's under emergency use, but we'll see. But as of right now, no, not yet. That could change tomorrow. I don't know. Supply NCO from Fort Carson. You got any Gerbers? Any leftover Gerbers left over? Maybe some boots? Good deal. I already answered Lane's question earlier. If you missed it and weren't paying attention, I don't really want to explain the whole thing all over again. Sorry, if you asked a question and you missed the answer, rewind the stream. Did you enjoy your time in the Army? I would say parts of my time. It wasn't like, obviously, if I enjoyed it that much, I would have stayed in the Army for 20 plus years. There was moments that I enjoyed. As a whole, it wasn't something I wanted to keep doing for 10 more years, 15 more years, whatever, and then retire. So I will say that there was moments that I enjoyed in the Army. Moments that I hated, moments that I enjoyed. So not enough moments that I loved that I wanted to stay in forever, though. What's the largest formation you were ever a part of? For me, we gathered as a regiment a few times, but nothing ever larger than that. I've done division, because at Fort Carson we do this thing called Ivy Week. It just happened not that long ago. I had an Instagram story about how annoying it is because it just jacks up traffic trying to get on post that first day because they do a division run. So probably a division is probably the highest I did. So 4ID, 4th Infantry Division will do Ivy Week. That first day of Ivy Week is a division run that just a really slow paced run, but it's through a large area of Fort Carson. And then when you get done with it, usually they do a big formation at the end of the run and the division commander will speak, say some motivational stuff to kick off Ivy Week usually. And so I remember that happening. And then we would start Ivy Week and then be a bunch of sports going on and all week of just nothing but sports and all sorts of crazy stuff. So I think division is probably the largest formation I've been a part of. What's up, Tiffany? You are really late. We're almost done with the live stream. We'll be getting pretty close to ending the live stream here pretty soon, actually. Chris, I got all the paperwork signed for the Army. All that is left is ASVAB, and to renew my ID, I'm going to do 4-year contract as a combat engineer, earn my sapper tabs, then swap to Navy. Why? Why do you want to swap to the Navy? I mean, if that's your goal, to do Army and then swap to the Navy, you know, you go chase after your dreams. Make sure you do good research, though. You know, make sure that, you know, it's something you really want to do. You know, sometimes I know people that want to switch over to the Army from the Marines because Army promotes faster. I don't know what the promotion is like from the Navy. So promotion might slow down. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. Just make sure you do some good research before you dedicate yourself to like swapping over to the Navy kind of a thing, and make sure that the job you're going to go into is something, you know, especially if you already enjoy being a combat engineer in the Army. You might not want to take a chance of ruining that. So just make sure you do good research, though. If you had to join a different branch, what branch would you have joined? I originally was going to try to join the Air Force, but the Air Force recruiter was not as persistent as the Army recruiter was. But nowadays, maybe space. Well, no, I don't think I really want to work with satellites. That's mainly what Space Force does. A lot of what they do is satellite stuff. I don't think I really want to work with satellites. Probably get Air Force, though. Maybe Air Force, do video production in the Air Force. But the hard part is you're not guaranteed that job. If you really want to be guaranteed a job, you have to go Army. I don't know. It's tough. Maybe Air Force, though. Do you know how often Special Forces get deployed? I was told that I'd have to change MOS if I ended up actually making it. Yeah, I mean, if you go Special Forces, it's an 18 series MOS, so your MOS changes. So, like, if you were, like, let's say a cook, right? You know, like, any MOS can try out for Special Forces, and whatever your MOS was before you were Special Forces, if you make selection, go to the Q course, and you become an 18 series MOS. That's 18 Bravo, 18 Delta. You have to do the research on all the different 18 series MOSs, but you become an 18 series MOS. How often they deploy? I've heard from some Special Forces individuals that they deploy as often as 6 months, like every 6 months. Some I've heard they've had, like, you know, times where they don't deploy for a year or two. So it really kind of depends sometimes on the Special Forces group as far as their rotation and what their mission is, as far as how often they are kind of deploying and stuff. So it'll vary. It'll kind of depend. But yeah, I've heard that. I've heard a couple of different ways. But yeah, you will switch to 18 series MOS. Tell your daughter happy birthday, VGMR. Hopefully the birthday party went well. You don't need a civilian license to drive military vehicles. That is true. I mean, you just go through, like, the Army. Your unit has its own little driver's training course that you'll do with the master driver, and then you get a little license for that. So yeah, you don't have to actually have a civilian driver's license to get a military driver's license. Let's see. Civilian license requires for 88 mic. I'm pretty sure I thought it was. I thought all licensed military operators had a civilian driver's license. Not all. Yeah, no, not all. I think 88 mic does require it. I have no friends. Well, you do now, Andrew. We're all your friends. Join the Discord channel. Subscribe to the channel. Well, obviously you're subscribed to the channel. Otherwise you'd be able to chat. Now you've got like 72 friends of what's in here right now. We're at 121 likes. We're almost there, guys. I need to probably only do a couple more questions, and I need to go backwards in the chat. So, because we're over an hour now. So I'm going to do a couple of really recent questions, and then I'm going to go backwards in the chat. See if there's some good questions that maybe I scrolled past and maybe should be answered. If I still do not answer your question, hit me up on Instagram. Unless it's Lane, because freaking Lane, I answered your question like twice, and you still keep answering the same question. I don't know. So you just need to rewind the stream probably. But anybody else, hit me up on Instagram if I do not answer your question here, or ask it over in the Discord channel. A lot of amazing people over in the Discord channel, and make sure you join it. A lot of fun stuff. Let's see. Marty says, did you do the ACFT when you were in, or the APFT? I did the APFT. ACFT is pretty new. That's the thing that they just started, what, 2019, 2020? Right, ACFT is really, really new. So no, I did the Army Physical Fitness Test, APFT. Any advice from switching from guard to active? It's gonna be a different change of pace. It's not gonna be as relaxed as it probably was in the guard. They are on active duty. It's more the fundamentals. Like, remember from basic training, stand at parade rest for non-commissioned officers, saying yes sergeant, no sergeant, whatever kind of a thing, right? I guess it depends on your rank too, but still, being respectful, because I know people from the reserves and National Guard, they get really relaxed in the reserves. You're calling each other by their first name sometimes. You're, not as strict or not as formal with non-commissioned officers and the officers like you are in active duty. So be ready for that. It is a lot more strict with your terminology, your verbiage, your mannerisms around non-commissioned officers and officers. So be aware of that. It will be a lot different, probably going from National Guard to the active duty world, where you only did it, every month, depending on how often you did drill or whatever, where now you're doing it day to day. And so it's going to be a little bit of a shock probably at first, until you get used to it. Hi Chris, what stuff would you do in your free time when you were deployed? Thanks for your service. Well, thanks. Movies was a big one. We had like a little shop that had like pirate DVDs. I don't know why they're allowed to get away with it when you're deployed, but they were allowed to get away with it. We had it on base. We had pirate DVDs you could buy for like $2 or $3, and so you'd watch sometimes these brand new movies that were definitely like filmed with a camcorder in a movie theater. So when I did have free time, a lot of it was watching movies. I would get movies from other soldiers, like on my hard drive, because I made sure I had a good laptop, especially like my second deployment. First deployment, it was a little bit sketchier because I didn't know what to expect too well, but I learned from that first deployment when I got to my second deployment. So I made sure to have like an external hard drive that was big enough to be able to store a lot of movies on it, and get movies from other soldiers when they would, have movies that I don't have, so I could have some movies to watch, or get some cheap DVDs from the little bazaar or the little Haji shop, as we would call it, and watch movies from there. So that was usually what I would do. My second deployment, it was easier to have internet access, so sometimes I was, chatting with friends through Yahoo Messenger or through Facebook. Well, at that time, I think I was using MySpace still, because it was still towards the end of MySpace. So chatting with people on MySpace and maybe a little bit on Facebook. Let's see, maybe like one or two more questions before I go backwards. Let's see, any advice for veterans who've lost their friends during combat? Talk to somebody about it, right? I mean, you have opportunities to talk to counselors, talk to other soldiers, whatever makes you feel the most comfortable. Probably the best you can do, right? Talk to a professional, like a psychiatrist. You can get that for free in the Army, and you can talk to someone to find ways to cope with it, find ways to not necessarily get over it, but, handle it. Any tips for what to do if you get DQ'd at MEPS? You probably want to talk to a recruiter about that. It probably depends on why you got disqualified. If it's even something you can kind of fix, or something you're kind of screwed on, or it's just you're never going to qualify. So you probably want to talk to a recruiter on that. Difference between Cav Scout, MOS, and infantry. What should I choose? Infantry is usually going to be more into the combat. Scouts can be in on the combat as well, but their main mission usually is reconnaissance, for them to observe the enemy from afar, to gather intelligence, so that way the higher ups can better plan attacks or plan missions or whatever. But that's not to say that scouts don't get into the heat of the mix too. Just not probably as often as maybe an 11 Bravo might, because like I said, a scout's more on the reconnaissance side. So just depends on what your goals are. You want to, do reconnaissance, or do you want to do more of the kicking in of the doors and raiding buildings and, full on contact with the enemy, that kind of a thing. I mean, right now it's still not even really very common because there's not really a big conflict going on currently. All right, I'm going to go backwards in the chat. I'm going to try to find some questions that maybe I blew over and didn't answer. And then I'll come back into the current chat to answer a couple more questions. We'll be closing this out here pretty soon. We're at 130 likes. Still not what we need. We need 150. We need 150 likes. Otherwise, you guys all got to do 20 push-ups at the end of the stream. And if you don't do them, I will know. I will know if you don't do your push-ups. And I will have a word with your drill sergeant. Make sure you get smoked like crazy when you show up at basic training. And if you're already in the Army, I will talk to your sergeant major, and I will unleash hell. Okay? So make sure to hit that like button. Let me see. What do we got? Let me scroll up a little ways. I know there's some areas where I skip past pretty far. Some of these I already answered, so I'm trying to find the ones I didn't really answer. I find something. Here's a good one. This one. How do you think your service in the Army helped you in your civilian world? Definitely like being on time. I think I have anxiety about being late, so it probably makes it to where I'm on time all the time. So that's probably pretty good. It's good to be on time to work. I think maybe the work habits somewhat, right? Organization skills probably helps. You have to be pretty organized. I mean, how good you are at being organized depends on the person, I guess, but you kind of have that kind of idea of like, oh, I had to do this in the Army, I had to do that in the Army, and so that you can kind of apply some of that stuff to there. But I think general discipline, being on time, respecting people, organization, a lot of things probably. I think there's quite a few things that probably really helped out with my Army experience in the civilian world that probably helps be a good employee. Let's see. Let me see if I can find one more really good one. I find one more good one. I can't find one more good one, then I'll just come back to the current spot in the chat, though. Well, we got a super chat, so maybe we'll just do a super chat, huh? Can you do a video on 17 Charlie? I did. So Google search it. YouTube search it. I have a video on 17 Charlies. All right, super chat. Jump into that. Mad Cat coming in with a $10 super chat. Sorry if this is a dumb question. No such thing. As South Park says, there's no such thing as dumb questions. Just dumb people. No, just kidding. Sorry if this is a dumb question, but do you happen to know what languages are in demand for 35 PA right now? I asked my recruiter and he dodged the question. I think the main ones they do is like the Middle Eastern ones. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm probably still not. I'm not dodging your question, but I probably don't have a good answer for it. Because if you look at it, let's see. 35 PA, right? 35 PA MOS. It'll give you a basic rundown of it, like on the Army's website for cryptologic linguists. But requirements. I don't think it talks about specific languages, but mostly I would probably imagine it's going to be things like Pashto, Dari, Middle Eastern type of languages. It's probably going to be pretty common. I don't know 100% for sure. That'd be my guess. But if your recruiter's dodging the question, I guess you can't reach out to your recruiter. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in the Discord channel that's a 35 footpaw. So I would say you could try to ask someone in the Discord, but I don't think there is any. So good luck to you, though. I really appreciate the super chat. I would expect Middle Eastern languages to probably be the higher in demand ones, most likely. All right, we're going to do a couple more questions. 138 likes. We're trying to get to 150. I don't think we're going to make it. So I think you guys are going to owe me 20 push-ups. Sorry, this is how it works. And if you don't, I'm going to have a word with your leadership, drill sergeant, your sergeant major, whoever I got to. Make sure I get those 20 push-ups. Can we get more Zod and Clutch content on the vlog channel? I haven't been doing crap on the vlog channel. I need to get back to doing the vlog channel. I was going to do a vlog episode on the belt. You can't see it in the background, but there's my belt. If you saw on Instagram, I have the Army belt. I was going to do one on that, and then some other things, and then maybe an office tour. I don't know. I gotta get with it, guys, on the vlog channel. If you're anybody who watches any of the content on the vlog channel, I don't think I've done a vlog in like a month. So I gotta really get on that. Would you go back? Let's highlight. Would you go back if you could? No. I enjoy doing the civilian life. I always just was after the military, the Army, for the experience, not to make it a lifetime thing. I got the experience I wanted, and I moved on. So. What is basic AIT? What is basic / AIT was and being active compared to guard guys? And it's a little bit mixed up, but are you talking about like what is the difference between AIT and basic for active and guard? It's the exact same. Active duty and guard, they do the exact same basic training, AIT, all that stuff like that. It's afterwards that things are a little different, but your basic training and your AIT for active, reserves, and guard are the same. I'm looking to, let's see, I'm gonna skip down a little bit. We're gonna do like 1 or 2 more questions. I think I said that earlier, but this time I mean it. 1 or 2 more questions, and that's it. What's really good? Let me find 2 really good questions. Well, I won't count this one, but I know a little bit of German. A few phrases here and there. That's about it. I watch your videos. I watch your videos every day. Would it be possible to do some more videos on the officer route of the military? Probably not. Mainly because I don't have that experience, right? I mean, there's a lot of other things I don't have experience on either. I wasn't Special Forces, I wasn't Rangers, but I have video content on that because I still kind of understand it from the enlisted side, right? And certain other aspects of it, but officer side, my officer knowledge of what officers go through and what their officer career is like is very, very limited. So it's harder to understand that stuff. Where other things, you know, even though I didn't have direct experience with it, I understand when they talk about it, what it's talking about, and I understand what's going on. It would be really hard for me to do any kind of good content, probably for officer-related type of things. Do you salute a governor or any other politician? No. The only politician you salute, it would be the president. Anybody else, I don't think you do the vice president even. I'm not 100% sure on the vice president, but no, like no governors, senators, none of that stuff, no. You don't salute any of them. For the most part, president, maybe the vice president, I'm not even 100% sure on the vice president one. But yeah. President's pretty much the main one. How many option 40 contracts are typically available? That probably just varies. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't know that information. A recruiter maybe would know that, but this is, hey man, can U.S. Marine Special Forces use a phone? mean, like, do they know how to use a phone? What are you talking about here? Marines don't have special forces, for one. Special forces is the Army. Closest thing that Marines have is MARSOC. So what are you trying to say here? I don't know what you're trying to say here. If someone says they're in the Marine Special Forces, that's not a thing. If they say they're in the Marines MARSOC, they're in MARSOC in the Marines, then that's a thing. One more really good question. We're gonna end the live stream here. Let me find one last good question before we end it. We're so close, guys. Can we get 6 more likes before I read and answer this last question? So close. So close to the 150 likes. Make it happen. Make it happen. Can use a phone on deployment? Sure. It's a really good question. Where do we have a good one? See, look right here. It says complaining that I answered somebody else's question more than I answered theirs. And if you had a question and you asked it here, I probably could have answered it right then. Shame. Maybe this one will be the last one. What do 11 Bravos do when they are not shipped out? A lot of it is training. So sometimes 11 Bravos say that it's kind of sucks being 11 Bravo when there's not active deployments going on. So that's kind of a tough thing where they just kind of get stuck doing a lot of training. I've known people that they get stuck doing, going to the gym often. It really varies. So because you don't really have a job when you're not deployed, you're stuck kind of doing training a lot. So a lot of training, a lot of details sometimes too, like mowing lawns, picking up trash, those kind of things. So yeah, usually you don't really get to do 11 Bravo stuff other than training for 11 Bravo stuff unless you're on a deployment. That's kind of the tough thing that some people look at with 11 Bravo. We did it, unless someone wants to be an asshole and unlike the stream. But I see 151 on my end. So we made the goal. You don't owe me any push-ups. Call it good. And you can save the physical fitness for going to the gym in the morning or working out in the morning or something. I don't know. PT in the morning if you're currently in the Army. You got Monday morning PT before you probably have command maintenance on Mondays. So good luck to you. Hopefully all goes well. That is going to end it for our live stream, my friends. We're going to end it here. I'll be back next Sunday. We'll do another live stream again, I think. I don't think there's anything special going on Sunday that I won't be able to do so. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram, because if you had a question that I was not able to answer here because I skipped past it, whatever, just do me a favor and follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a direct message. I will reply to you maybe in less than 5 days, maybe a few hours from now. I don't know. It depends on my availability. So make sure you go follow me on Instagram. You shoot me a message there. You can also join the Discord channel. The link is in the description box down below. If you would like to join it, it is free to join the Discord channel. If you do become a member of Chaos Elite, which is the join button down below, it does unlock some perks sometimes in the Discord or the perks on the channel, sometimes early access to videos. Sometimes it's just cool because you get a cool little rank icon next to your name and all that kind of fun stuff. So lots of things available to you guys. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. Thanks for joining the live stream, and I will see you again real soon. See ya.